Hola, ¿cómo está? Hey, this Canadian Conquistador. This is part 3 to my gear loadout, how to pack a pack for going on long, unsupported hikes. Pack your bags, how to get your gear together, how to get ready for such a hike. I've already put out 2 videos prior to this showing you individual components of your backpack. This video here is going to show you how to do basic navigation. I have in the future plans to do an extensive navigation, more like a bushwhacking video. Stick around. We will show you a few things that you might not know about. Real reasonable question would be, how do you plan on navigating your adventure that you're about to go on? Are you going to navigate like in the old days by the stars, by land masses, looking at patterns, just going with your instincts? Or are you going to go with something like GPS coordinates? Something like this watch that I have here, a Sunto. This can actually, you can plug in coordinates on it and follow this to your destination. There are specific devices out there that are strictly GPS and they have emergency signals on them and everything like that, but this one does not. So that is one means of navigation in the wilderness, is assuming that you have GPS, which is in almost every cubic meter of the planet right now. If you do plan on using a watch like this, it's more lighter. It's right there on your wrists all the time, where the other devices I see, they hang them up here and that, and you gotta take them out and click on it and figure out where you're going. But I prefer the old methods of using a map. Better yet, get a guidebook, and something like, if you're gonna do a big trail like the Colorado Trail, they have many publications that will give you the details of your journey that you expect to go on. They come with maps, albeit they're very vague maps and they don't really go down to topographical features as much as I'd like, but you can order those from the National Geographic. You can get very detailed maps if you want, if you think you need. There's the Colorado Trail book, the Colorado Data book, which is more maps. They give you specific features on there and everything, but this one's been chewed up by my dog. But you can take something like this. This has the maps specific to your journey and where you're planning. And what I like to do is I actually like to cut them out of the book. That's why this book looks so bad. I cut them out of the book and I staple the pages together of the specific places that I tend to be. So the sections that I plan on doing are broken down into these little maps here, and as I burn through one, I can literally burn the page, get rid of it. Reduces weight, also reduces unnecessary paper that you have. But the good thing about having something like this, a paper map, a lot of people like to use GutHook, which is an app on your phone. But imagine if you drop your phone in the creek. You're already done with then, unless you memorized it. You got it all up here, you are done, because GutHook relies on the phone relies on a battery, and you get that wet and now you have neither nor. So having paper is always a good thing. Plus I keep it in a pocket, it's convenient. I can whip it out and just look at it and go, oh, I got so and so far to go to my next water source. I suggest, even in this day and age, to bring paper maps with you. If you get the Colorado Data book, it's actually all waterproof paper, so that you can get rained on. You can be looking at this in the rain and you're all set. But let me just go into a little bit of detail upon these maps, what's to expect to be seen on these maps, what kind of information you can get, and we'll move on from there. Here's the Colorado Trail Guide. It's put out by the Colorado Mountain Club, right there, and it's the 9th edition. But they keep them up to date pretty much, these books, because stuff does change. They buy new properties and add parts to the trail. But here in the legend, we have the current section, the segment, the trail. You have the cyclists, wilderness detours, because they don't allow bikes on every part. The trail is the dotted line, got paved roads. national forest boundary, of course, trailhead, parking camp. In this side here, we talk about like where you begin. It goes by mileage here. Same information, but dumbed down more to what you need to know, like when to turn, what trail to take, water sources, campsite. If you start from the very beginning in Denver, this will tell you the miles that you're progressing. It's 400 and some miles for the entire trail. Also your elevation gains. So how many feet you've gone up and down, and what section you're in. This is section 11, the San Isabella National Forest, and here is the map that they provide you. Now, when I was first visualizing this, by looking at the map, I was imagining that this was in a valley of mountains and that this was all woods and everything because of the green on the map. And this can be a great deception, because when I actually drove here, this was all plains, like dead grass plains that you could see forever. And you pulled in here, and I navigated my way up to the parking area here. And this is Twin Lakes. I just wanted to show you that they have these markers, these little black dots, and they're usually miles. Like each one of these squares is a mile. But they're in coordinates with this side view down here, or a plane view, whatever you want to call it. And according to the miles, which is listed on the bottom here. And so I started about 12 or 13.7. So at 13.7, you're starting at about 9,000 feet. So that's where you start at. And it shows you your elevation gain, and pretty accurate. I'm sure they went up there with some GPS into this, pretty accurate. So I wanted to show you is that all those, this has detail, like you can see where the creeks are going through. There is no topographical lines. There's nothing like that. There's trails, your mileage along the trail. So then you get out this, and it has more defined creeks. Where your creeks are, there's still no topographical information, okay? The only topographical you have is down here, and this is on the trail itself. It's not telling you what's around you or anything like this. So be warned, if you're going by this trail guide, take meticulous care on your elevation gains. So for instance, here you're going from 8,000 to almost 11,000 feet, and then you're dropping down another 2,000 feet and going up again. But this can be very deceiving, this map can be. You can be like, oh wow, it's just so many miles and blah, blah, blah. But you can see this lake right here, and this lake right here, same map. They don't tell you is what you should expect is that something small and minuscule detail like this can actually be something very taxing on you. Pay attention to like these little squiggly marks mean switchbacks, which means you're probably going to be going up a steep incline, right? And like I said, no topographical information here to tell you. The only thing you got to go by is right here. So yes, you're going up a pretty big gain, but you're talking 4,000 feet in 4 miles elevation gain. So within 4 miles, you're pretty much going straight up. So this can be deceiving, this can be deceiving. And I will show you what this actually turned out to be looking like right here. And you wouldn't know that on this side is a good 3,000 foot descent, and on this side of the lake is a 4,000 foot ascent. And this map would not even tell you anything about that. So pay particular attention to your elevation map, more so than this map, because this map is somewhat deceiving. I'm just saying, remember that when you're hiking, it doesn't matter if you're on the Colorado Trail or anywhere else. Try to get a better map than these so you know what to expect, so you don't have any false premises. Notice switchbacks, a lot of this. If you see a lot of this squiggling going back and forth, that means you're going either up or you're going down. It's going to be pretty sharp when you come to a somewhat flat area to go across. 2 through 4, 5. So see, notice there's not many squiggly lines there. It's fairly straightforward. It does tell you there's a creek going across, 2 creeks. And just because these creeks are here does not mean that they aren't dried up. So the other thing I want to show you where there's campsites, scenic areas, Water sources, if the cup is empty with an exclamation point, that means there probably is no water. And during September, there probably definitely is no water there. If anything, it's a mud puddle. When you see these fuller cups here with the wiggly waves, that usually means it's a running creek. You want to make sure in your planning that you are planning miles. And I could go about 7 miles with 2 liters of water. And so if you ever see a gap in here that's more than 7 miles, you want to make sure you get your water at least 2 quarts, 2 liters before you even attempt to go through that, because Colorado is so dry. The wind could be coming through and it feels like you're in a dryer, and you will burn through that water very, very fast. Campsites are usually pre-existing campsites. They've been there for a long time and they suggest you use those, but they could be crowded. I also determine, like, let's say it's 15 miles, 20 miles. I might not be able to do 18 miles, especially if you have a lot of steep inclines in that. So plan your campsites and your water pickups very carefully. Don't depend on these exclamation point water sources. They probably aren't going to be there. I can guarantee they're not going to be there actually. Water, shelter, that's your 2 important things. So just remember that when you're planning your trip, plan for your water sources, plan for your campsites. You can even plan out your break periods where you're going to take a break meaning like an hour lunch or something like that. Rest up against a tree, massage your feet, change out that foot tape, take your shoes off obviously. Remember to carry a paper map. Gut hook's good, but bring that map. Food you're going to notice when you're starting to get low on sugar count, when your carbs are running low in your body and you start getting exhausted. If you start feeling sick to your stomach and stuff like that, you probably just need to break out a candy bar or something like that, some jerky, and refuel your body. Take 15 minutes, eat enough that you think you can get going with, and it'll make a world of difference. In this part of the video, I'm going to talk about food. The average human, they say, takes 2,000 calories just to maintain normal organ function, brain function, and stuff like that. So obviously out on the trail, you're going to be eating a lot more calories. For me, I found that I always overpack food. Like, oh, I got to eat 3 times a day, plus I need candy bars and blah, blah, blah. But the fact is, I can get up, eat a couple candy bars for breakfast. Candy bars meaning protein bars and stuff is what I'm saying. But I can pretty much eat a couple of those, have a cup of coffee, and that will get me up to about like 9 o'clock. And then I'm going to have to eat some more beef jerky, some cheese, whatever. And I don't even eat like a real solid meal until I get to camp. And even then, the last time I went out for a 10-day trip, I wasn't even hungry for the first 4 days. But after that, you get very, very like in starvation mode where it seems like you can't eat enough. So just remember that when you're packing for food. Maybe the first couple days, keep it low on the calorie count, and then plan having more, stack your food so that you have more food towards the end of your long extent out in the wild. So it's not only the bears that you got to worry about getting into your food, it's also the squirrels and the chipmunks and the little critters. They have more dexterity. They can climb trees, get up to your bear sack or whatever. But some places in Colorado, it's mandatory. You have to bring a bear bag. If you go to Maroon Bells or something, you have to have a hard canister. But they have this new product. It's a Ursack. You can get them in white or black. Maybe they got different colors by now, but it's basically a Kevlar bag. This one's a bear bag, basically, but they sell a bear and small critter bag. A bear can't chew through this, but a squirrel can. Basically, even this rope is Kevlar. So the idea is you get one of these plastic bags. It's pretty much the same volume as the bag itself. And this is a smell-proof bag. So you put all of your food in here. You seal this up, and roll it up, put it in here, and hang it on the tree, or tie it around a trunk of a tree or something like this. So I guess a good habit to get into is, because of the smells and everything, and because a lot of people aren't really hygienic when they're cooking, and hygienic meaning super clean. When they're cooking, they're not dropping little bits of rice around their stove and stuff like this, their bowl. It's better to like anticipate your camp spot, and maybe a mile out of it, go ahead and do your cooking and pack up everything, wash it all up, and seal your food back up, so when you get to camp, there's no aromas with you in your tent. There's no aromas around your campsite or anything like that, because some places are worse than others for bears. But I suggest, I had to bring dog food, right, for my dog. And I bring lots of beef jerky. I think on my next camp trip, the best thing to do is bring lots of beef jerky, bring lots of dried fruit, and pretty much stay away from those Mountain House pre-made meals, because actually they take up a lot of room, they weigh a lot, but they don't give you a lot of calories. And in the wilderness, you're gonna need more fat than any other source of food, because fat is for endurance, okay? So you want lots of fatty things. If you're gonna bring cheese, bring the most sharpest cheese you can. It'll stay hard, and it's not so disgusting to eat when it actually is at room temperature. It'll last longer. But then, of course, okay, so I said dried fruit, and I said beef jerky, hard cheeses. I also would bring at least maybe 4 a day of these snacks, and some chocolate, something with high density calories. That's all in my future endeavors I'm going to bring. I'm not going to bring any Mountain Houses or anything like that. I'm going to bring my beef jerky, my cheese, dried fruits like apricots, and these protein bars for in between. And that, my friends, I believe you would be set. You would carry a lot less weight. High density, high calorie density foods. You won't need to bring as much bulk wise. It'll take a lot less room in your pack. Here, you want, come on. And the dogs love the jerky. So if you do plan on bringing your dogs, I really suggest making them carry their own weight. Make them carry their own food. They sell little doggy backpacks. Make them carry their own sleeping pad, and perhaps like a blanket for them. And if they have a jacket to wear or something like that, have them do that also. But I have problems when I have the dogs. If you have a nice air mattress, their little nails are going to puncture through it, and you know what, they get tired. So at the end of the day, they just want to go into the tent and lay down on your sleeping bag, right? And the dogs are great to bring along because they alert to intruders. Come here. Up. Yeah, good girl. Yeah, the dogs are really great to bring along with you. Some people say it's abuse, but you know what? Are you going to call all those wolves, all those coyotes being abused because they're out in the wild? That's their nature, you know. They want to be out there. That my dog finds that is like her thing. She loves to be in the woods, and I love her to be with me in the woods. It's kind of a bonding experience for your animals, and they'll alert you to things that you might not notice in the woods when you're walking around. They'll protect you, you know. They like to be out there also, you know. So take your dogs along. Just don't do what I did and I was carrying her dog food. I was carrying everything for her. But dogs are more than capable to carry weight. They're not carrying anything. They're just they're doing laps around you the whole time. So putting a little bit of weight on them will keep them more at your pace, and they'll get tired when you get tired. But if you don't let them carry anything, they're not going to be tired at all when you get back to camp, you know. But I just wanted to talk about dogs. Bring them along. So one last thing I wanted to discuss is be realistic, okay? I know that's not equipment, it's not navigation or anything like this, but be realistic. Check your health. Are you even in a position of healthiness to be able to do what you are planning to do? And be humble, you know. Be humble. Don't be arrogant. Don't make arrogant goals for yourself. I guess you need to really check yourself. You need to see if you're physically fit to be able to do such a hike at this time, okay? I'm gonna go into more details about this in a video I plan on putting out in a short while, so stay tuned for that one. I hope you learned a lot from this 3-part series, how to pack your bag for a through hike or a shorter or longer version hike than just a day hike, you know? So enjoy, guys. We'll see you.